3, 2, 1.
What a big week for Canada.
And therefore the world.
That wasn't planned. That was not planned. See, this is what you get when you legalize marinara.
And have a full roster on the dub-dub.
On the dub-dub. Well, the dub-dub is going to sound like a marijuana joke.
It can be both.
If you're in the United States, we're sorry. But also we're not. What a time to be Canadian. And what a time to be the Winged Wheel podcast, because today we found out that previous guest host being his first credit, and then I guess, you know, all his other things that he's done, which we're not going to rattle down that list, Jeff Merrick, went on his, well, he's the host of the 31 Thoughts podcast with Elliot Friedman, and like he said he would, gave us a shout out on the episode when he was talking about his idea for the All-Star game, and he said, I was on the Detroit, the Winged Wheel podcast, and Friedman was like, yeah. He goes, the Detroit Red Wings podcast, and Friedman was like, oh yeah, yeah. And we died a little bit. We melted a little bit. Thank you to all of our listeners who tweeted that out at us, by the way. I was about an hour away from listening to the episode, and I was in the middle of Costco and I started listening.
I don't know what time it went up, but it would have been on my commute home, so I would have heard it either way. But I'm very happy I didn't have to waste time. And I caught it like. By the way, you guys are dedicated. Like, we found out that we were on that like less than an hour after it got posted.
So know that now that we're famous, we won't forget. I'm kidding. Very, very, very great of Jeff to do that. We're excited to have him back on the show in the future, and we should probably have, I think, Friedman on the show. It's only fair as well.
Yep, and also I forget who the writer was, but The Athletic did an interview with Jeff Merrick that was posted today, which was fantastic.
Yeah, the 20 questions.
Yeah, and he actually got a little personal there, which was
that's a great read. If you're a subscriber to The Athletic, go read that one.
I'm actually a little disappointed that I didn't know that whole story about his adoption, because I could have related with him on a personal level.
Oh, we'll talk to him again.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to bring it up.
Yeah, I know. Brad, when have you ever had something to talk about that you haven't brought up? That's my real question for you.
All the time, because you have no idea how many things I want to talk about.
I never want to have an idea of what goes on in your head. You know those little animated thought bubbles that go on? It's like Homer dancing or like a donut or something. I never want to see what's inside your head.
Just know that the Benny Hill soundtrack is never not playing in my head.
I've never been less interested in knowing more about a person than what I know about you and what I could know about you. I need you to know how serious I am about that. So if you guys haven't heard it, 31 Thoughts podcast, you can get it everywhere, obviously. Hosted by Jeff Merrick and Elliot Friedman. Their most recent episode, which came out on October 18th, it's I think it's titled Marijuana in Sports, or Weed in Sports maybe, I'm not sure. We get our shout out at about 25 minutes in, 25:20 I think is the timestamp, but the whole episode's worth a listen. So thank you to them.
As far as like, they're probably the best quality hockey podcast out there, realistically. Like, they even have production value.
Oh, they do have, I was listening, I was like, we need an editor. We can't afford an editor. That was a really, really cool moment for us. Know that happened because of you guys. Clayton Van Dyken is the guy who tweeted at he's one of our fans and listeners and name level sponsors on Patreon, is the guy who tweeted at Jeff to have him come on the show, and Jeff was like, oh hell yeah, I'm all into it. So you guys make all this cool stuff happen. Everything good that happens on the show happens because of you. Or when Brad is sick and he doesn't speak as loudly. That's also a good thing, and that's not your doing, that's just the world. That's bacteria. Right, Brad?
Exactly.
Brad and Evan are both lost in their phones.
I'm getting DMs. People are sliding in, okay?
Gross. Brad is constantly 5 years behind in his vernacular.
Yeah, I know.
You think I do that by accident?
I don't want insight into how you come to your decisions. Earlier the mic was dropping and I was like, why does this thing keep dropping? And Brad looks at me so seriously and says, because it's hot, referencing Snoop Dogg from, a decade ago?
Oh, probably longer than that.
You piece of shit.
Keep in mind, though, a decade ago, I was still in my 20s. You have to understand that.
What do you mean still in your 20s? Because that would imply that you're...
Shut up, you know what I meant.
On this episode, we're gonna have a Mike Milbury minute. We're gonna have a Mike Milbury minute, and Brad and I might fight for that full minute because we are both pissed. Evan, I'm sure, has feelings too.
What?
You really got the Wolverine hair going on today.
I just got a haircut and I shook my hair out because I didn't have time to shower, so it goes all crazy like until I shower again.
So Shea Weber slash Hugh Jackman is here with us. We're going to be talking about McDavid's streak. We didn't even talk about this. This is our main guest for the episode. Sorry, we got so wrapped up in Jeff Merrick. Mike Commito, hockey historian, has an impressive resume. I was reading his Twitter bio and I felt very inadequate. He was great enough to come on the podcast. He had a great interview with us, so we're going to be putting him. We're going to be talking to him later this episode. He is the author of Hockey 365. I never really knew what a hockey historian did before talking to Mike, but it's very, very cool. One of our most interesting interviews, so you can look forward to that. And we're going to be talking about our own moments in hockey history. Not our own, but the ones that we remember. Well, Brad will probably give you...
Oh, God, how many days do we have?
Yeah, Brad will tell you about when he played for the blue team and he scored 3 goals in the game or something.
And he had to walk there in minus 40-degree weather.
Yeah.
With his skates already on.
And then, of course, we'll get into overtime with our patrons only. We'll segue into the Mike Milbury Minute with this. Libor Shulak is down in the minors, which I am actually okay with, because Trevor Daley is back, and obviously he's not going to go anywhere. Libor Shulak was a blast to watch, in my mind. Really fun player, by no means perfect, lots of mistakes too. In my mind, he's the guy who, with a little bit of refinement, can be a great third-line pairing guy, who's at the very worst entertaining to watch for Detroit.
He got his games, now he needs to refine it a little bit, and he'll be back.
Yeah, there's going to be plenty of injuries in this.
The fact he even made the team was kind of surprising in my mind. Yeah. So, good for him, he got his time.
It was almost by default, though, to be fair.
A liver infection will do that.
Yeah,
funny enough.
Who knew?
Yeah.
And having a normal defense core where the average age is 42.
Yeah, he was actually an old guy.
Yeah, a lot of the stories in Mike's book, most of the Ravens defense were there, present for.
It's true.
I don't think Ericsson's old so much as slow. It's just that he moves so slowly we assume he's old.
Yes.
Or is that Cronwall now?
He has Benjamin Button syndrome.
No, he was just born old and stayed old.
He's got a body of a 32-year-old, but he's actually been alive for like 63 years.
If Jonathan Ericsson had the body... Is he 32?
I have no idea.
He
I'm guessing.
has to be older than 32.
He's looked the same age. He's Swedish, so he looks the same
he doesn't
from
look...
birth, basically. As soon as a Swedish man hits puberty, he looks that way until about 65.
Jonathan Ericsson's 34, okay. I knew I wasn't going crazy. So Shulak going down, that's fine. It's to be expected. The rest of the lineups. We're not even going to talk about the lineups for the Tampa Bay game, and they're playing right now as we're recording. Detroit's down 1-0. I'm going to go down to a Red Wings tweet from before the game prior. They went before the Montreal game. I have never been so livid. I was on the Fire Blashill train before this. Really, not as earnestly. I could see the merit to giving him the full season in case a miracle happened. But after this, so the Red Wings tweeted out the following lines, and this is from the official Red Wings account. They had a Larkin graphic, they had the whole thing, projected lines. Nyquist, Larkin, Mantha. Bertuzzi, Athanasiou, Vanek.
Perfect.
Abdelkader, Nielsen, Helm. N, Glendening, Firk. On defense, Cholowski, Hronek, Hickett, Sulak, Cronwall, Jensen.
Okay, great.
That never happened. We started the game with Darren Helm on the first line with... I can't even remember. It was Darren Helm on the first line and Luke Glendening centering the second line.
I think I can find... Wait, was this for the game tonight?
No, it was for the game. Those were the lines against Montreal.
Well, Ryan, if it makes you feel better, Glendening's been demoted to the third line center now.
Mantha's fourth line winger tonight.
To be fair, I'll actually defend Blashill on this one. Mantha's been terrible this year.
Yeah, that is true.
The first line of Helm, Larkin, Mantha. That was the first game where Rasmussen was a scratch. They wanted him to watch the game from the box.
So you know what he gets tonight? He gets Glendening and Abdelkader on his line.
He gets Glendening and Abdelkader on his line.
Poor guy.
What is that about?
The grit per 60 will be off the charts.
It's all about trials and tribulation, but this just seems unfair.
No, it's... Okay, so...
I already have the stopwatch out. Let me know when we get to start.
Okay, no, I'm going in, because I'm sticking to my promise of I'm going to take the optimistic approach on everything, every episode this year before I get into the negatives. Okay. Here we go.
Yes. He has to pump himself up.
I'm actually trying to think of something as I'm going here, and I'm struggling. Athanasiou scored 2 goals after I said he'd break out.
Okay, first of all,
That was good.
he was due. Those were 2 very important goals because he was playing so well.
Yeah, that was huge for his confidence. He's now tied for second on the team in goals. The Red Wings have more goals than the Arizona Coyotes, who have 4 in 5 games, I think.
Or 3 and 4. Brad is both being facetious and not facetious at all.
No, I'm legitimately trying to think of something, and I don't. Because since our last podcast, the Montreal game has been the only game, and we had the roster announced for Tampa. Like, for the record, for anybody, I don't know if we specified, the Tampa game is going on as we speak.
I'm itching to start this Mike Milbury minute. Please let me start.
Okay. Okay, you know what? I'm going to stop. Ryan, go. I had this whole big point lined up, but it was going to be drawn out and thoughtful. And
this is not time for that.
This is not the time and the place for that. Ryan, this is all you. Have fun, champ.
Jeff Blashill has the opportunity of his life to keep his job for another year after an abysmal first 3 seasons as the Red Wings head coach. He has a young, talented core with all the potential in the world. He has 0 expectations to be competitive with this team. He has to do legitimately the bare minimum. He is saying all the right things. He is saying all the right things in defense of these young guys, projecting the outlook. He's finally admitting the fact that this team won't be competitive. He does things like send Libor Shulak down and put Rasmussen in the press box to teach them, not to punish them like Babcock used to teach them. And then what does he do? This line blender, this absolute Vitamix line blender, where he hampers their development, he hampers their potential to score goals when no one else can because they are the whole team by putting Helm on the first line, Glendening on the second line. This insanity, the definition of insanity is thinking Jeff Blashill is going to stop putting 4th liners on the first and second line. It is absolutely ludicrous that this is still happening.
It's a minute. Okay. So
now we can be sensible.
So now to dissect that. So, while I agree with everything Ryan said, let's take a more rational approach to this. We've been going on and on for years about Blashill's line blender. So, I'm not going to dive too much into how much that infuriates me because I don't think there's a hockey fan on the planet who ever thinks that's a good idea. All I will say is that at Charting Hockey on Twitter, Sean Tierney, he keeps track of line statistics to see who's producing, Corsi for per 60, Corsi against, and trying to figure out who, and puts them all in the quadrants. Who are the best lines in the NHL? Believe it or not, by that metric, the Red Wings have one of the strongest lines in the NHL this year.
I'm afraid to know who this is.
Larkin, Mantha, and Nyquist. When Blashill did the right thing, took his best right winger, his best center, and his best left winger and put them all on the same line, they were great. Again, some bad puck luck. They didn't get as many goals as they should have. Even with Mantha, who in my opinion has been underperforming this year, that line was still great. And then when you go through the rest of the chart, it's about what you would expect. The other 3 lines are bad, but the Vanek, Athanasiou, Bertuzzi line, they were about average in terms of they were basically getting a lot of chances but also giving up a lot of chances, which is fine, and the bottom 6 was a dumpster fire. This is exactly what we expected from Detroit this year, so there's nothing wrong with that. That is not a knock on Blashill. That is just the talent this roster has. I don't understand. I don't remember a time other than when we put Abdelkader with Datsuk and Zetterberg that putting one of these bottom 6 grinders into the top 6 has worked. And that's not even a fair argument to make because, again, we could throw Evan out there with Pavel Datsuk and Henrik Zetterberg, and he's good for 15 goals.
Yep. But we don't have Pavel Datsuk anymore.
Exactly. That's my point.
These guys aren't them.
And I have no qualms, none at all, with Libor Shulak going down to the minors.
No.
Again, as far as raw talent goes, out of every defense in the Red Wings organization right now, he's probably 2nd or 3rd on the depth chart. But he also had the most warts in his game. He had the most turnovers. He was out of position more than Hickett, Hronek, and Cholowski were. So if he's the first one to go down, yes, that's fine. I actually agree with that. But then the lineup tonight. So you were ranting mainly about Monday. Tonight, the forward blender was just as similar, except Rasmussen came back in, came out, whatever, because God forbid we scratch N or one of the grinders. But
keep thumbing.
But the indefensible move was putting Luke Witkowski in for Filip Hronek. I can't.
Again, absolutely do not understand.
When that news broke today, I put out some sarcastic comment like, I have no comment. There's nothing that needs to be said here. And a couple people tweeted at me, well, it's good to learn from the press box. And in some cases, I would agree. Here's why I don't. The last 2 games, the Red Wings have gotten absolutely pumped. Like, what was it, 8-2 against Boston and 7-2 against Montreal? Did you expect a better result from Tampa? What are you going to learn watching those games? Watching your team run around like a lost puppy. You don't learn anything from that. You learn from watching good teams playing good teams, or hell, even similarly bad teams playing each other, because then you're not just watching one team getting caved. You can see how each team's systems work. You can analyze the other team's system and go, okay, this is what they did, this is how I defend it, yada, yada, yada. You can watch your team from above and go, oh, I see why we're running that route on the breakout, or whatever it might be. This does nothing. Being in the press box for the Red Wings this year does nothing, because they're going to get hammered more than they're going to win. Again, look at the shot metrics this year. The Red Wings are getting caved. You're not learning anything from the press box. So I don't know if Blashill was just being sentimental for Witkowski and putting him in against his old team, which, if that's the case, honestly, that's probably the only answer I accept, because it's a lost year. We know that already. So if you're going to throw guys in against their former teams here and there and whatever, that's fine. It's one game realistically isn't going to stunt Hronek's development. I get that. But at the same time, if the reason is any other, like that you either A, think this is better for Hronek's development, you're wrong, or you think Witkowski gives you a better chance to win, which, if that's your argument, you needed to be fired yesterday. And again, I hate sitting here and being this, Blashill needs to go, blah, 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 because I don't like being that guy that says, watching someone go to the unemployment line is never fun. I get that. No matter how much I disagree with Blashill, and I am petitioning for him to hit that unemployment line, it's not something I want to take great joy in when it happens.
It's also not. It's not good radio for us to be that constant parrot. Blashill go, Blashill go, Blashill go.
But there's nothing. This is the thing. I don't get, because I get the argument on Blashill a lot. He was dealt a bad hand. He was dealt a bad roster. He had a good run in Grand Rapids and all that. I'm done. There is no defense for him anymore. His systems are bad. His development of prospects is bad. Players aren't progressing under him. Again, outside of Dylan Larkin, no player on this Red Wings roster has progressed like we'd hoped. And even with Larkin, his sophomore year was a disaster. It's almost fluke that he came back the way that he did.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Anthony Mantha this year should be a 30-goal scorer.
Yeah.
In my mind, that's at risk.
Yeah.
He's playing terribly.
And again, so then my next concern gets, okay, well, what's going to happen with Shulak, Cholowski, Hronek, Hicketts, Rasmussen under Blashill? I'm almost grateful Zadina is not on this team at this point, because I don't want Blashill to be the guy teaching him. Again, it's not like I'm sitting on my pedestal and saying I'd be a better coach than Blashill, but I can sit here as someone who reasonably knows hockey and saying I can't find one redeeming quality about what he's doing with this team.
It's two things. It's two things that concern me the most, that put me firmly in the camp of Blashill. I'm not sure should survive as Red Wings coach into 2019, let alone next season. First is rookies and young guys coming in. It is their systems and their coach. I won't even use the word systems anymore. Their coaching and their management, it is crucial. They are sponges. They are the most impressionable at that age. The only thing that might outweigh it is that they're playing with an absolute veteran who can impart that wisdom. I think it's a little bit of a misconception to say that every veteran would impart that wisdom. I don't think that Mike Green necessarily does it as well as like Nick Lidstrom did it, even though that's an extreme example. I digress. The rookies being stunted. Secondly is the players aged 24 to 30 not progressing. You should be getting better at the game of hockey every year up until you're 30 years old. That sounds like a ridiculous thing, but you should constantly be improving. And we used to see that. Pavel Datsyuk and Henrik Zetterberg got better every year of their career until they were like 33. It was if they slowed down, then they were Datsuk became more adept in being strong in his skates, or if Zetterberg slowed down, he learned how to protect the puck and make plays that way rather than having to burn by everyone. Danny DeKeyser and Gustav Nyquist and Tomas Tatar seem to hit, to varying degrees, but they seem to hit walls. Danny DeKeyser fell off.
Nyquist might be the best example, though, because this is a guy who put up near 30 goal seasons back-to-back, and then Blashill came in, and he hasn't come close since.
He hasn't been... He's been a great player, but for Detroit...
Has he been a great player, though?
For Detroit.
He's a half a point game per player when his first NHL season, in 60 games, he was a half a goal per game player.
I used to chalk all this up to... No, Blashill's just saying the team's lines to the media, because Adam Lascaris actually sent me an article the other day, and I remember this quote very, very vividly. I remember getting very upset about it. It was... I think last year, the year before, when the team just wasn't going to make it. Obviously not, because the team hasn't been close forever. And Blashill said he believed that the team would make the playoffs through Zetterberg's sheer will alone. This is like twilight of his career, Zetterberg. Blashill the other day said Danny DeKeyser's been our best player.
What?
Yeah.
Granted, I was on the train of... I've actually seen improvement from DeKeyser this year, so I'm not going to dump on that. I just, if he thinks DeKeyser...
We're in a world of hurt if he's our best player.
He should see a problem on the team if Danny DeKeyser's been the best player. If Danny DeKeyser has been objectively the best player on the ice, fine, whatever. But he shouldn't say, and we need to rely on him. He should say, oh shit, something's wrong. If all these 10 guys who are objectively better than Danny DeKeyser are doing worse things on the ice.
I think just a further point on young players getting better and better as they age to 30, I think you see it even more in the league that the young guys coming in at 18 years old are almost better than a lot of guys in their 30s because they've got those young legs and the game keeps getting faster and faster. So this is even worse if Jeff Blashill's your coach and not turning these young guys into what their true potential is, because we need to do it sooner than we ever have. As when you look at the way the NHL's going.
For the first time, genuinely for the first time, I'm more firmly in the camp of Blashill has to go than Kenny has to go. I think both of them are true. I understand that my argument's not as solid for Ken Holland.
Well, as the losses begin to pile up, it's easier to get rid of a coach, and it does more in the locker room than getting rid of your GM.
Yeah.
And Detroit's in that rare circumstance right now where they have a seasoned NHL coach currently on the staff, so it would not be a dramatic step off, right? So
I think he'd be fine interim. I might be wrong about this. I'm not interested in Dan Biles no longer.
He's not the solution, but he's certainly
He's a fine stopgap.
Yeah.
Here's why I'm okay with giving Bilesma the reins just to see. We had a big conversation last episode about how offense is taking over the NHL again. Everybody's younger, faster, more skilled, yada yada yada. Blashill, as we know, is the conservative coach. Defensive style, play conservative, roster decisions are conservative. He's not that guy to play the very, very up-tempo, let's go, go, go game. Bilesma is. So even if Bilesma has his flaws as a coach, I've heard he's over-analytical, he does a little too much video work, not enough personnel, whatever, it's fine. He at least coaches to the proper style of today's NHL
I'll take anything else right now.
Legitimately, if I have to watch them skate through mud in the neutral zone one more time.
If I watch one more power play where we drop it back to a forward where...
You mean our top 10 power play that Bilesma's running?
No, I can't handle it.
5 of 17.
Yeah, Detroit's legitimately got one of the better power plays in the league right now, and Bilesma has taken it over. That's why.
Is it zone entry, or is it because we're actually better in their zone?
We're better in their zone.
Zone entry is probably the worst part of that power play.
Yeah, and that might
We've been doing it for 7 years. Teams just stand on their blue line now and wait.
And to be fair, where I will give the coaches some slack here, give them some rope.
Some Libor shoes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
When it comes to the Red Wings power play, they don't have a lot of talent that would excel at zone entry outside of Athanasiu, Larkin, and maybe Nyquist. Nobody else on those units is someone I would want coming through the neutral zone with the puck.
All right, boys. Cronwell's going to carry it up, pass it to Zetterberg around the red line, and then Zetterberg's going to give it over to Datsuk, and then Datsuk's going to drop pass, and someone's going to carry it in. Coach, Datsuk hasn't been on the team for a few years now.
Zetterberg's retired, and Cronwell can't skate.
Right. Okay. So Pavel's gonna drop pass, and then that's how we're gonna enter. Okay.
No, their new strategy. Okay. Everybody can count to 10, right? Yes. Okay. See that jersey there with the 7 and the 1? Yes. Give him the puck and get out of the way.
The 7 and the 1.
We got to make it simple.
The power play. No, but the power play has been.
Once they get possession in the zone, they've been dynamite. They have been.
I think Tampa Bay's goal was shorthanded tonight.
No, Tampa's goal came just after one of Tampa's power plays.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So it was 5-on-5, but Detroit never left the zone after the penalty kill.
That sounds about right.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
You want to know a fun fact? And you know, I'm not even going to rip into this too much because I know it kind of has to be the case, but I'm going to put it out there anyways because of who I am as a person. Guess who's averaging 21 minutes and 30 seconds of ice time a game?
Nicholas Kronwall.
Nicholas Cromwell.
How can he do that? I don't
can't.
understand how he doesn't just turn to dust.
Well, 45 seconds of each shift are actually just him hobbling onto the ice.
Yeah, to get over the boards, it takes about 30 seconds.
Ooh, is that Cholowski? Or who's 37?
37. Svechnikov. He ain't
Oh, they're
playing.
showing an old replay from the preseason when he got hurt. I
was
was
gonna say-
Jokinen just walked into the frame.
I was just saying, I'm like, 37 Svechnikov. I could have sworn. Oh, we put our topics, and 2 topics we didn't even put on the agenda for today that we need to talk about because they're decently big Red Wing stories. Svechnikov's basically out for the season, and we now have Jacob Delarose.
Oh, that's right. The Svechnikov story sucks, and I think it's just going to hurt his chances to play against his brother in Carolina on Monday.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong.
Think so.
Yeah. I had no idea his ACL injury was that bad.
Yeah, it sounded like when he was out of the opening night roster that it was a day-to-day thing, and then all of a sudden the team didn't even break the news. It was Svechnikov who's posting on Instagram in like his hospital gown post-surgery, and we're all like, wait, what? Because he didn't say a timeline or what had happened, and we're all looking at Detroit's Twitter like, guys,
ACL
surgery?
Reconstruction surgery. That shit exploded.
Yep, and then in what a lot of people were saying, oh, Rasmussen is going back to juniors and all that. I'm pretty sure Svechnikov's surgery is why the Red Wings claimed Delarose. It's like, oh, we lost a body, let's gain a body. And again, if you want to know what Christopher Ain might be, it's great. We just picked him up 4 years down the road. Here's Jacob Delarose. Great skater, great defensively, absolutely zero offense in his game.
Jacob Delarose was touted as a great two-way player, really good defensively, had a lot of offensive skill that came through quite a bit. When he made it to the show, he never put that, for Montreal, he never put that offensive game together. He has survived basically on his defensive prowess. He has a lot of raw skill, raw potential, but has just never put the offensive game together.
I think he's a former second-round pick, too.
Yeah.
I think he got picked like 34th overall.
He's touted pretty highly.
Here's the thing. A lot of Red Wings fans were dumping on this when I think I tweeted something about it, and they're like, yeah, but why?
It's a nothing move.
It costs them absolutely nothing. Give the guy a shot. If we have to send Ain down or whoever to make whatever, it's a lost cause season. Again, if you're ever going to try stuff, this is the time.
I'm not concerned about Ain's ice time.
No, I'm not at all. Although we know it wouldn't be him going down. But again, it's one of those situations where I get it, but I laugh at the same time because it's, hey, Delarose had a ton of offense before he came to the NHL. He's a great defender, like for
Sometimes you just need a change of pace, but I don't know if Detroit's
That's what I was
the
gonna say,
picture
it's like-
you're looking for.
Might as well pick him up, see if he can find his offensive here, change of scenery, and then I laugh because we have the worst possible coach for that. And again, this isn't me dumping on Blashill. Blashill's a conservative coach, so if you're trying to find offense, I would say the same thing if he went to like the Islanders and Barry Trotz. It's not a guy who's going to rekindle offense.
I just watched 2 zone entries on the power play. First one, for some reason they tried to stretch breakaway pass, even though they were on the power play.
Oh, we love that too.
They did not have that clear lane.
Let me guess, the breakaway pass was to someone other than Larkin in AA2.
I think it was Vanek.
Of course.
The second, or it might have been Athanasiou.
That makes more sense.
The second one was a pass to Athanasiou at the blue line, open lane, great entry potential, and they missed the pass.
Yeah, that sounds about right too.
That's the thing that actually drives me nuts about the Red Wings. I don't know if it's a skill thing or a Blashill thing, but it's something. The basic plays that they manage to consistently screw up is horrifying me.
You know what? Ever since the season started and we talked about one Swedish individual who's been kind of shopped around being a coach in the NHL, the more I wish he was part of our organization.
Ah, who's I have a feeling that we might be hearing more from him in the future.
Who? Oh yeah. Mr. Gronberg, possibly the first ever European NHL head coach.
Just his philosophies on players and how it's you need to keep developing them and their skills rather than putting them into systems.
It'd be really cool if we could talk to him.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
We should move on. We had a great interview today with Mike Commito, a hockey historian, and I'm excited to get you guys to hear that. Mike, you'll hear why, is our most dedicated guest ever. Took this call in a very peculiar way. So, without further ado, let's hear from Mike Commito, author of Hockey 365. 365.
Well, God damn it.
All right, here's Mike.
And that was Mike Commito, author of Hockey 365.
You have one job, Ryan.
I do essentially just have one job, and there it was. That was a really, really interesting interview. Really, really cool talking to Mike. Again, we're going to be giving away a copy of his book, Hockey 365. Check out the tweet from our official podcast account. And I'm just going to do this plug now. If you like this podcast, you want to support us however you can, follow the podcast account on Twitter, and then follow our individual accounts. Go to our bio. All of our individual accounts are listed there. Follow us. We like that. Makes us happy, and we're very active. We're too active on Twitter.
I can only pay my bills with narcissism, so please follow.
I actually have that tattooed on my ribs.
It's true.
Under both boobs.
Yep.
Hockey history moments. I want all of us to go around and name our favorite moment in Red Wings history and our favorite moment in hockey history that's not Red Wings related. Okay, I'll go first. Thank you for volunteering, Ryan.
No problem.
Favorite moment in Red Wings history, 2002, Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals, beating Colorado 7-0.
Damn it, that was the one I was just thinking of!
I will never forget where I was. I will never forget that whole... That is... Obviously, that's one of the greatest teams ever played, that was ever iced in the NHL. But that game, that was the ultimate win in that rivalry. And my favorite moment outside of Red Wings history and hockey history has to be Sid's golden goal in 08 in Vancouver.
God damn it, Ryan.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking two of the easiest answers on the face of the earth.
You want to do easy answers? Mr. Athanasiou was due for that goal. Hot take.
Yeah.
No, I only said that because people were dumping on.
Sidney Crosby's gonna score a couple goals this year, I think.
Good chance.
That Connor McDavid fella sure is fast.
Yep. Wonder if he'll make the All-Star game. I guess I'll go next. I think one of my favorite Red Wings moments was when they won the cup and Vladdy came out in the wheelchair.
Oh, yeah.
That's easily my favorite.
You're actually a bad person if you don't pick that one.
Yeah, it's pretty much true. Shame on you, Ryan.
Yeah. I know who I am.
You know, all the Olympics ones are where we win are great, but the one, I guess maybe bad Olympics that I can think of now that I got onto that was when Marc-Andre Fleury in junior, the World Juniors, hit. I don't even know which American player it was. Hit him with the puck and it went in our own net, and that was basically it. I'll never forget that at grade 7, and we watched it in school, and there was one American kid, and of course he had to be obnoxious.
Yeah, so that's your favorite moment?
Well, that's the most memorable. Favorite?
You're right, no, memorable is what we should be going for.
Yeah, it's hard to say in my life what's my favorite, because I don't remember anything anymore.
Yeah. Well, you hardly remember the podcast.
Yeah,
you're on a streak. You're on a little bit of a heater right now. I've seen a lot of them lately. You know why? It's because the weather's cold.
Yeah. I golfed last week, and I got back to my place by 6:40, and by 7 o'clock it was pitch dark out.
Yeah.
So yeah, days are very... When I saw snow yesterday, I was like, well, it's almost it.
Foxwood is doing a winter season for golfing?
How is that possible?
Maybe, I'm not sure. I heard something about winter, like we opened up for the winter season. I was like...
It can't be Maybe they consider right now winter and they've got really cheap golf, but it's just not possible because golf balls are white. And when you hit them into...
Mine are red.
If you hit them into snow, they go down into the white snow.
I bought red balls so I wouldn't lose them. I've lost half.
Anytime you play with other color balls, you always lose them. Yeah. My mom plays with like yellowish green ones. I'm like, I can't see these at all.
It's not like there's anything green on a golf course.
Yeah, well, not on...
Not where I shoot.
Not on those. It's cornfields are usually brown.
I have become a master of retrieving balls out of streams. Anyways, Brad, your hockey moments. Not yours. We don't want to hear about...
I'm not. Favorite Red Wings moment? I mean, just because I'm old enough to remember it, was McCarty's goal in '97. Like, that was insane. Even 10-year-old me knew that was, like...
Maybe the best cup-winning goal ever?
Like, in terms of, like...
Niceness of the goal?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. I can't think of one that even comes close, honestly. Outside of Red Wings, I was actually in the building when the Kitchener Rangers won the OHL championship in '03, which was really cool. Watching them lift the trophy, skate around the thing, get ready for the Memorial Cup. That was pretty cool. That was back when I thought Derek Roy was going to score 150 points every year in the NHL, because he was just toying with players in the OHL that year.
And now he plays in the town where one of my buddies lives. And he's a legend there. That's what my friend says.
Alright. Hockey history. It really is a cool read. Definitely pick it up. Even if you just read, it's all sectioned out by date. Obviously, you probably pick that up.
It's kind of applicable to everybody, because like our parents have their own generation where they thought hockey, when they grew up with hockey. We have our own. Like, it's just a good mishmash of everything, and it gives you a kind of a well-rounded idea of the history of hockey.
Here's a good question that I have, not like arguments, but conversations with about a lot of people I work with and friends and whatnot. More significant goal in Canadian hockey history: Crosby golden goal, Henderson 72.
I wish I was alive for both to really give a more objective opinion.
My innate answer is Crosby, but I can't, like Evan said, I wasn't there, and I still hold Henderson's goal as like 1A, 1B, and so you almost have to give it to Henderson that way, because that was the foundational era of international hockey, really. The game was still in its foundational phases. The league had just expanded. Like the tension, the socio-political tensions of that. The significance and impact of that goal went so much farther.
Well, the way we're going right now in the geopolitical scheme,
you know what?
We might be having another 72.
Yeah, Connor McDavid's gonna have to score one of those goals real soon.
All the Russians are gonna leave the NHL and train in Siberia.
It's never the superstars that score those goals. It's gonna be Mark Stone.
Oh yes, legend Mark Stone.
A $7 million contract, Mark.
Because Henderson was a great player, but he was far from a premium name on that team.
That's how you do it.
I
That's
remember
how you get into the halls.
Phil Esposito's biography, autobiography, I believe it was actually. He was talking about, he's like, if we didn't win that game, they wouldn't have sent us a Cessna to bring us back. They would have made us walk back. I as a biased person, I have to say, Jesus, the Red Wings just had a terrible odd man break. And they scored. Never mind.
Detroit scored?
Yeah, Detroit scored. Off an awful odd man break. I think Abdelkader buried it.
Something screwed up and Abdelkader scored. That's about the only way that happened.
They did not capitalize on that chance the way they should have. Or it might have been Glendening. It looks like it was Glendening.
Glendening, according to Twitter.
Yeah, that was... they did not capitalize... Look at this breakout. Look at this break into the zone.
Oh, what a pass by Shalosky.
It was a great pass by Shalosky.
Everyone's saying it's Glendening.
So, he moves
over.
Shalosky's
not going to get a point on
it. In the lane. Trevor Daley's in the lane. He moves it out of the lane. Puts it back in. Hits a skate. Glendening.
I feel like that goal shouldn't count.
That should not.
That should have went in the net 3 times before it did.
That was a mess that goes up on the scoreboard, essentially. Anyways.
But yeah, so getting back to our conversation, yeah, it's hard to understand, like, because see, the thing is, I always waver on what's the bigger goal, because we can't truly understand how politically driven the 72 was, but it comes down to 2 things. Back then, that game, that goal, only mattered to Canada and Russia, whereas Crosby's was the Olympics. The one sporting event that the entire world pays attention to.
The Winter Olympics hockey is, when the NHL players are there, is the premier event.
Yeah, literally the entire world was watching that Crosby goal.
Can I talk about something I hate? And this isn't remote. I'm not kidding.
I'm done with this conversation. You're good.
This isn't remotely related. When you have to log into something and they're like, click on all the pictures with the street. Fuck you. You piece of shit.
And I'm pretty sure it's been proven that those don't work.
It's like, yeah, because like the car is in like a tiny little bit of the next frame. You're like, do I click it or do I not? And you don't click it. They're like, all right, now click all the ones where the people are thinking about bagels. And obviously you can't see people's thoughts, and you just have to.
Well, this is all thanks to the Nigerian princes trying to give us their money.
That's so annoying. We're going to move over to overtime because this is one of our special midweek episodes. Of course, we are on our 2-episode per week pilot right now. Our midweek episodes, our Patreon patrons are the only participants in overtime. It's exclusive to them as our way of saying thanks for making this possible. They are sticking out for 2 episodes a week, and they're contributing to this. So for all of you who love 2 episodes a week and you're not a patron, thank a patron or become one. Caitlin Wood starts by saying Red Wings aren't great, but that doesn't stop me from repping at least a hat daily. Look into those trucker hats, by the way. Us Texans would dig them. They did mention that, like trucker hats with mesh backs, red and white. Those would be pretty sweet.
Like the Von Dutch ones?
I'm not sure, but it sounds right.
You don't remember when Paris Hilton wore those?
No, I don't remember a lot about Paris
well, Brad was probably too old for that at that point.
I mean,
I think that hit me right
in your sweet
right
spot.
in the sweet spot of
Yeah.
social upbringing.
Defense needs work. Coach is below average. Larkin is still our sweet baby boy that tries his best. Aftermath is pooped on night after night, etc., etc. You know what is good? The new Call of Duty Blackout Battle Royale. Ryan, you know what I'm talking about.
I think it's Black Ops.
The Battle Royale is called Blackout.
Well, that's way too confusing.
Yeah. I have not played it. I've watched a ton of gameplay. Brad, you're old and you probably think I'm speaking Greek. Evan, I honestly don't know what you think about games. You probably aren't even there.
I have the most expensive computer here.
And are hidden the links or in the Horn of Africa or whatever. But man, take my word for it, it's fun stuff. I'm Red Dead's coming soon, so I can't.
Yeah, as soon as I put money into a graphics card, I realized the hope of getting a PlayStation was out the window.
Don't do that. I lose frames landing tilted towers before.
I actually bought one off eBay, and I thought it was going to be real sketchy, but it actually was amazing, and I saved a ton of money.
It's so refreshing to have something other than Fortnite in the limelight. It's like the younger, more athletic, skillful game is improving on the old, dull, run-of-the-mill game in every respect. I don't really think this has anything to do with Detroit hockey, but maybe, I don't know. Maybe it does. Anyway, so looking forward to Red Dead 2. Me. Sure to be good. Let's go Red Wings. I can't wait to play Red Dead.
I'm a big cynic of the gaming community, or the gaming world right now, so I do not play games on day one, because I have a very bad suspicion that, I think it's Take-Two Interactive is the developer, that they're going to sneak in microtransactions, and I hate...
Take-Two, they're a developer for Red Dead.
Rockstar publishes it.
I thought they were the dev.
No.
Oh.
But I think Take-Two might be owned by Rockstar. I think. Don't quote me on that.
Brad has, since high school prom, Brad has never felt more left out. Actually, I think you were dating Crystal then.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to go way back.
God. Joe Deppy says, hey guys, hope you're well. Is there a logical explanation for Blashill's line juggling? Refer to earlier this episode.
No.
Hard answer, no. Of all the questionable things he does, this is my biggest beef. I've never played organized hockey, but I've played other organized team sports, and line juggling Blashill style wasn't part of any strategy I've ever experienced. I appreciate some insight from people like you who have played organized hockey so I can try and understand this.
There's very few people that have instant chemistry in life, let alone in a sport.
Yeah.
So,
look at us three
line
meatheads.
Yeah. Lightning in a bottle. What can I say?
Yeah. 3-year long lightning.
Yeah.
Nearing 4. Are we nearing 4?
2015,
Isn't it February?
Will be 4 years?
I only know it's like mid-February.
Yeah. I think our first day was like the 21st or something. That's actually a day in Mike Commito's Hockey 365. On this day, the Wingfield podcast started.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Hey man, you caught on.
I almost believed. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would anyone ever put that?
We've been on the 31 Thoughts podcast. Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Arjun Shanker says, alright boys, first, I'm not going to talk about the Wings because I'm sure you've already covered it all. All I have to say is Vanek is bumming me out when he scores his first hattie. I'll pick up his jersey, probably, and I have no new questions about the Wings besides what's your favorite hard liquor? Scotch.
Oh, we're going just general.
Yeah.
I love dark rum. Nothing gives me a hangover better than that.
The true sadism that comes with your mid-20s.
Yeah.
Whiskey. Second, I want to make sure you tell everyone about your new organization of Patreon tiers. Oh, yeah. New organization of Patreon tiers. Have we...
Ryan, you have one job.
No, that was...
we put the post on Patreon.
We put the post on Patreon. Everyone should, if you're a Patreon patron, go look at your tiers. We added a $7.50 tier to people who still want to be a named sponsor. So $7.50.
But don't want to do the $10 twice a week.
Yeah.
So we got you.
$7.50 and $10 still count as named sponsors. Additionally, if you are one of our beautiful $10 patrons and you stay on for a year, we're taking you to a game.
Yeah, that's not a contest. You're
coming.
We're just buying you a ticket.
There are a few different things that we're doing. For example, the name level sponsors. I can't remember. Is it? I'm really bad at this. We're doing a monthly. Oh, we should talk about this. We're doing a monthly Patreon exclusive episode.
So we're going to be twice a week, 3 out of the 4 weeks a month, for everybody, and then twice a week, every week, for patrons.
The topic of that monthly episode is going to be decided by our name level sponsors.
Do you think Brad could do ASMR?
I would. Nothing would disgust me more than Brad's ASMR. Nothing makes me more uncomfortable than the thought of Brad doing ASMR.
He'll just like say Red Wings things like.
No, all I would do is it would be silent, and I would just sort hockey cards the whole time.
Just super close to the mic.
It's actually is really relaxing to finish off your day with that.
If you are a patron, go look at that post. If you want to become a patron, we have added more options for everyone. We've added more stuff to make this more valuable for our patrons.
Tell us what you want.
Long-term plans. Long-term, and we're talking long-term, like we have to figure out a lot of stuff to do this. You know how Dangle has his blue room? We want to make a red room. We want to do more videos.
That sounds murdery.
Yeah.
It's like The Shining.
Yeah.
Not the same.
Like The
Red
Shining.
room.
We want to do more videos, but we don't have a space that's that production quality. In long term, that's what we want. The problem is none of us own our properties right now, so we can't exactly build a studio. So that's kind of one of our long-term goals. Things that we're adding is those Patreon exclusive episodes, is the different tiers, the different giveaways. We're going to be doing way more jersey giveaways, way more ticket giveaways. You don't even have to be a top-level sponsor for that.
And apparently Patreon won't let us post the word giveaway on Patreon, so you'll have to listen to the episodes to figure out when those are.
We can still post when they win. It's just they were a little bit confused about how we do our giveaways. We thought we'd make people pay extra, even if they were a patron. We're like, no, that's the opposite. They're added twice, actually, automatically.
Yeah.
Anyways, check it out on Patreon. Reading the rest of Arjun's comment, he says, finally, I just got to say that I did buy Avs season tickets, and while I still have a really tough time cheering for them at all, damn if I'm not thrilled to regularly watch NHL hockey. I realize I hate them a few orders of magnitude less than the Pens, Leafs, and Hawks, so that makes it a bit easier.
I would love to watch them.
Yeah, they're exciting right now. Mikko Rantanen might be the most underrated player in the league.
Can we have a Nathan McKinnon?
I took him 3rd overall in a draft.
We could next year, Brad.
Oh, yes, we could.
I guess just to ask a question at the end.
Likely will.
What's your favorite announced alternate vintage third if the Wings did one? What would you like to see? My favorite ever jersey, I think, has to be the Red Wings Winter Classic jersey against Toronto when it was at the Big House.
Yeah, that one was good.
And if I see a Red Wings third jersey, I want that. Brad, I know once.
I've said it every episode for like 3 months. I want the barber pole.
I sneakily like the Stadium Series jerseys.
I don't hate them, man.
I hated them. I think it's because of the white gloves. I hated it.
Gloves.
I think that's why I hated it, but when I just look at the jersey, it like didn't hurt as bad. And then it got nice, and I kind of liked it. Now I kind of want one. And not until they're good, though. And I could put a Hughes on the back.
Jack Hughes will never wear that jersey, though. You need to get a solid Brad Richards.
Oh, nice.
You can't put like Howe on the Stadium jersey. You can't do the jersey foul.
That's dumb.
If the player's never worn the jersey, it's a jersey foul.
I'll just put my own last name on the back.
Oh. You know who's done that is Brad Christo.
I'll put captain on, too.
Have you ever done that?
Has Brad ever done that?
Wait,
No,
that's not a Red Wings
Oh,
jersey. I did not buy that jersey. That was the hockey team I played for.
Only way it's acceptable is if you make the number 69.
No, we did it.
Double zeros.
Me and Crystal did it as part of a thing for our wedding photos.
Oh, grow up. You're in love? Jeez.
Ew.
We put our
For
names
2
on
seconds, let us be happy being alone. We both have girlfriends. The Niebler says, I used to kind of semi-defend Blashill because he's been given a dumpster fire team, but seeing Montreal, Vancouver, Ottawa, and the Rangers playing well and competing in rebuild seasons make me really question him this year. Fire him shortly and give Disco Dan an audition. As for the lines, Firkin. Throw shit at a wall and see what sticks. It's entertaining. Brad, why are we starting Derek Anderson? Is this what it hasn't come to? For sakes, fun thought, is Colin Kaepernick better than Derek Anderson and Peterman? Good thing I'm also a Raptors fan because maybe all teams won't be complete dumpster fires this year. Rest in peace, Gord Downey. What's your favorite hip song? Oh, that's hard.
It's 50 Mission Cap. How is it not?
I don't like the hip.
What?
Ooh, you just made a lot of enemies.
I just do not get it, and I've given it an honest effort, and I just can't get into the Tragically Hip. I can't do it.
They're not like one of my favorite bands, but like I just enjoy them. They're great.
I mean, I'm not like scoffing at it when it comes on or anything, because I know other people clearly enjoy that band. I honestly can't do it.
You might have just legally lost your Canadian citizenship.
I don't think I did. Even when I asked people who like that was their generational Blink-182, and that was the closest thing I understood to it, and I still don't think it's like a good comparison. I can't do it. I can't do it. I've tried. Clearly I've tried.
I'm going to divert from this. If you're in and around the Toronto area, and the Raptors scored 12 three-pointers in a night, McDonald's is giving out free medium fries.
What?
They scored 14 last night, so on the drive home, let's get some medium fries.
Do you have to like prove it somehow?
No.
Or?
Well, what do you mean prove it?
Like, is it like...
No, you order through the app, it'll automatically populate.
Yo, and
Are
that's
you
not
sure?
just a Toronto thing, we can do that in Kitchener?
Yeah. Like,
I have the app.
there.
I'm going to verify that.
Yeah,
as we
go to your
continue
offers. Dan Bell says, hey gents, hope all is well. First,
oh yeah!
Yeah, look at
There
that.
it is! Beyond the Arc! Free medium fries. Do I have to buy anything though?
No. He says, firstly, I'm looking forward to the Red Dead Redemption coming out. Got the new FIFA, I've been playing that pretty much exclusively. December is about the time I buy the newer NHL, so I can just be a GM and trade and or bench some of the wings that aggravate me. Abby usually gets a 4th rounder. Speaking of that mustard sandwich, during the last game there was a 4-on-4. Before I could even finish my sarcastic tweet about Abby or Glendenning coming to the ice, the camera pans to Abby on the ice, facepalm. I have no patience for Blashill anymore, which brings me to my question. Does a new coach, literally anyone else, do more with this team than Blash? Decided to go up to the $750 pledge. Thank you, Dan. Figured since y'all are doing more work and I recently re-entered Twitter, which means I can comment on both your posts to make myself feel better about the state of the wings. I can spare a few more dollars. Thanks, guys. Cheers. Really appreciate that. That means a lot to us. Is there a coach that would be worse than Blashill right now for Detroit?
Yes, I have one. Mike Milbury. That's the end of my list.
Yeah, that's... God. No, there's no one.
Stan Olsen says, hey guys, hope all is well. The season is dead. Draft question. If we do draft a forward, does this really make Mantha expendable? Obviously, if we grab a defenseman, this is irrelevant, but hypothetically, let's say we get Dylan Cousins. Our forward stable is Larkin, Zadina, Rasmussen, Berggren, Svechnikov, Athanasiou, and Bolino. So paying all those players isn't really practical. I see Mantha as the odd man out. He's pretty one-dimensional too, don't get me wrong. I love him as a player, but I really think someone has to go.
I don't think he'd be the odd man out. Based on the way he's performing right now, he ain't getting much of a raise. And again, going back to what Steve said on the episode a few weeks ago, competent bums, you need them. And if Mantha's ceiling is what he is now, a 20 to 25 goal scorer, he's not getting a huge payday, so he would fit very comfortably on the second or third line. So, fine.
I'm cautiously optimistic that Mantha is underperforming right now.
I agree with that. He has the raw talent to be a near 40-goal scorer. He just... Again, I've been the Mantha apologist for years where, no, I say he's just a smooth player and he's big, so it looks like he's not trying. No, this year it looks like he's legitimately not trying. So I don't know if he's just given up on Blashill, if he's injured, I don't know. He just doesn't look like himself this year.
Chris Cannell says, hey guys. Chris Cannell. He says, hey guys, hope you're all doing great. During the second intermission of the Montreal game, Ozzy was talking about Rasmussen. He said, I don't know how much he's going to learn from up there. I then stood up in my living room with my hands above my head and said rather loudly, Ozzy is all of us. Our commentators have been having fun because they know how bad this team is. It's a circus. It's hysterical. Also, what is your guys' favorite tank slogan? Mine would have to be either fail for nail or the McTank. Thanks for the hard work, guys, and have a good one.
I'm still pretty proud of Let Golson for Pod Golson.
Honestly, that's the most impressive I've ever been with you. Fail for nail that was like one of like the staples.
That one bothers me.
Is there one for Matthews? Austin Matthews?
Wasn't it like drop one for Austin or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah,
classic Leaf fans.
It wasn't good.
Not great.
But no, I hated the fail for nail one because that's not how you pronounce his name.
It's not?
No, it was Nail.
What were they saying?
Nail.
What did you just say?
Nail.
Oh, I thought it was the same. Oops.
It's all right. Like, it's understood that you're gonna English up names a little bit, but they just like everybody fully phoned that one in.
Yeah.
Like fail for nail. But yeah, I can't. The McTank was Mac or Jack was probably the good one.
Evan Beckner says, "Hey guys, I had thought of a fun comment last week during the podcast, but I forgot to do so. I'll leave you with this fun side of the day. The Pistons' win over the Nets was the first time a Detroit team has been over 500 since February 16th, 2018. Yay, sports! I did not need that in my life." Ryan Curran says, "Agreed. Red Dead 2 looks amazing. Now hockey. Last week on the 31 Thoughts podcast, Merrick." I think it was Merrick said he was hoping Larkin wasn't picked by the Wings because they would encourage him to play at U of M, and if he went to juniors, he would have played with McDavid. What's your thoughts on juniors versus college versus abroad, like Matthews, on development?
That was asked on a podcast. Sorry, I wasn't listening.
It was the 31 Thoughts last week, I believe.
Yeah.
And I know that was Merrick for sure was talking about how Erie held Larkin's rights, and it was only Detroit and Minnesota who would have sent him to Michigan.
I think we listened to that on the way down to the game.
Yeah, we did.
There's merits to all of them.
Yeah, there's no...
I think what Austin Matthews did was brilliant, but it's not for everyone.
So...
Austin Matthews literally looks like a 28-year-old man.
And again, for me, the NCAA is a more advanced league, but that's also because you get guys who are like 22, 23, 24 playing there. So the way I basically look at it, a more advanced player is probably better off going to the NCAA. A guy who's a little more raw is better going to the CHL.
And I think the CHL prepares you more for the grind of an NHL season.
Yeah.
You can really tell in Larkin's, I don't know if it was his sophomore or his rookie year, after like the whatever games they play, like 35 games in the NCAA, you could really tell after that he's running on empty.
Yeah, like I said, the NCAA is for the more polished guys. Junior's going to develop you a little better.
That would have been one hell of a team.
That would have been. And Erie's in Kitchener's division, so I'm very happy it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So one of I have a Swedish friend. He's on Reddit as Master Halden too. He sent me a message. Apparently, when we say Hakan Andersson, the way we pronounce Hakan is we're actually saying the chin. The chin.
Wait,
Anderson.
Hakan? I say Hakan.
I'm gonna play a thing. I'm gonna play something over my laptop, and this is how you actually pronounce. I don't know if you. Hakan.
Hakan.
That's what I'm telling you. All this like Scandinavian names, you have to put on this massive accent, and I can't do it.
We really do butcher them. The Chin Anderson.
I'm pretty sure that like A's don't exist in the Swedish language. Everything kind of feels like it defaults to an O sound.
Hakan the Chin Anderson. I love it. The chin pick.
Hakan.
Yeah.
Hakan.
That's about it for this episode. Oh wow, it was a long episode for a midweek episode.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we dummied ourselves. Thank you all so much for listening. For all of you who are Patreon patrons and are making these midweek episodes happen, thank you so much. Obviously, again, this 2-episode-a-week thing is a pilot. If you have feedback, give it to us. We want to thank all of our sponsors, especially our name-level sponsors, Andrew Hasenfratz, Sean Levine, Stan Olsen, Ryan Lewis, Arjun Shankar, Clayton Van Dyken, Langa Beer, Derek Shippert, Kaylin Wood, Charlie Elkins, and Dan Bell. Thank you guys so much. Our name sponsors of the show. Everyone who listens via however you get your podcast, that's amazing. Subscribe however you get your podcast. That's huge for us. If you're on iTunes, subscribing and leaving a rating is massive for us.
We're on Spotify too now.
If you're on Spotify, hit that little heart, hit that little follow/subscribe. # do the thing on Spotify for the Winged Wheel Pod.
Nobody's ever used that.
Yeah, a couple people have tweeted at me.
Whoa, bad for radio.
Ryan!
I don't know how my sound turned on. Thanks for nothing, NHL TV.
Apple's listening in.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go watch the rest of this train wreck that is the Red Wings Tampa game.